Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We have some people on live, and we also have some people watching us. This is the Young Black Expats coming at you live from our homes in Costa Rica. And we have our beautiful friends, the other half of Young Black Expats with us, the Bays, Latanya and Smokey. And I'm Donna, my husband, Mitch. And this is Salah. And what we wanted to do and what we will be doing from every week on Thursdays is having a live Q&A. Because what's been happening is, we do our videos and everything, but we get so many questions during the week. And a lot of the questions, you're basically getting answers from one-sided point of view. And we want to be able to give you at least, several different points of view of your question. So we want to be sure that you get the answers, that you're looking for, something that you can relate to, something that may be able to help you. And a lot of the answers sometimes are not just dealing with Costa Rica. Sometimes it's just basically just living outside of your comfort zone, living outside of the States. So that's what we want to bring to you. And first, I guess one of the main questions that we get every week is, why did you move to Costa Rica? Why did you choose Costa Rica? And so with that one question, we're going to throw it over to the Bays first, and then we'll follow up with our answers.
Where should we start? Why did we move to Costa Rica? Moving to Costa Rica was just one of the best things that we ever done, right? Because how can you know you live it when you never saw any other thing inside of America assimilate something that was peaceful, free-flowing? Somewhere it's like a different environment. Everything's just too tense in America, right? But in Costa Rica, why we moved here was just to change the scenery and be in a place that was more peaceful, that was somewhere our spirit was called.
Exactly.
But that's
and
another.
You've been here for a year,
things.
so the Bays have been here for 1 year. So can you tell us some of the plights and some of the lows about Costa Rica? Oh yeah. Okay. That's good.
Well, you said some of the highs and lows. Some of the highs and lows have been like just really access to things. When you first come to the country, no matter how much planning and research you do, once you hit the ground, there's the practical application of doing certain things and making the right choices so that you're not stuck with it. Starting with your housing, we thought we were making a good choice, for instance, on internet. Making sure that we had a place that had internet. And we learned that in Costa Rica, people tend to say yes or to affirm things, and it's not necessarily the absolute truth. Exactly. So we learned how you have to communicate in a new culture, because you could just ask a question. Okay, it has everything, right? It has internet, it has electricity, but you don't know to ask the next layer of questions. And I think the low for me is really being able to get certain things shipped into the country because of customs. And I've been talking to other expats, and they've been saying how easy it is to get certain things in Korea and other places. So it definitely is a Costa Rica issue as far as getting what you need here. And when you talk to people at home, they'll say, oh, I could just ship it to you. Mm-hmm. And they have no idea of the custom taxes, shipping taxes, and all of that stuff. So that's definitely
yes. And just to for what you said, LaTanya. It's a lot of times when you land, like you can do all the research in the world, but when you land, when you get off that plane and you go through customs and you get your luggage and you hit that door to get out and everybody's like, oh, taxi, it's like, I mean, it's just hits you. Yeah. Like, and you're like, okay, I'm in Costa Rica. Like, it's like no English. All the taxi cab drivers are literally fighting for your business. Exactly. You know, and so you can't research that.
No. Then you had a little mishap when you first got here with your luggage, right? Like for your shoes.
Well, it wasn't really a mishap. It was more of we had so much luggage that we, you know, after you come through customs, you're just so tired. And so we ended up leaving a bag. And so it wasn't so easy just to communicate to find the bag and that type of thing. But let us ask you a question because, you know, you all have been here.
Yes, almost 3 years.
Almost
change. Yeah.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah, two and some change.
So one of the most frequently asked questions in the mailbox that we get is, what do you do for a living? And I know you did a video on it. I know there is a video on it, but you know, it doesn't matter because people still ask the question. They want to know what we do for a living. Exactly. I think that's about the second most asked question, right?
Yeah.
It's asked so much, and really lately it's been asked even more. Just what do you do? You know, even from people that are retired age. You know, because we're not of retirement age, of course, but people that are retired, they're like, well, you guys are living in Costa Rica. What are you doing? Exactly. Like, how are you able to do that? And so basically, just for Mitch and I, about 6 years ago, we just started an online business, and it's a global product, a tangible product that we do, but the business had picked up so much that we got to the point where we were looking at each other like
we can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah, so if we can take this business anywhere that we want to in the world, where would we go? And we just started researching.
We just said Costa Rica, and then it just manifested Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, Costa Rica, no military, Costa Rica, the Happy Index. 2 hours away from the United States, so you're not that far away, you know. Yeah. So you can get, you know, catch a plane, and we'll be in.
And you know what?
Fort Lauderdale within, you know, 2.5 hours. So it all makes.
Right. And you know what? We didn't initially do all of that research when we chose it, and I guess even when you ask what do we do for a living, we also have an online business as well. Yeah. There's an element of, I think that I'm noticing with a lot of young and more progressive expats and nomads, because there are some people who haven't declared themselves as expats, but they are nomads, is they're not looking for a whole lot of money. They're planning on budgets. You know, people are taking the risk to figure it out. They know what they start out with. And so that might not work for somebody that has a family of 4 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But we took the risk too.
Yeah, and really, you know, there's so many things that you can do here. It's not necessarily online. You know, some people are yoga instructors. You know, some people want to have a brick and mortar business. Hold on one second. Go ahead.
Yeah, so some people want to have a brick and mortar business. Some people want, you know, it just depends. You know,
you can do a surfing if you know how to surfing class.
If you have, like, you can just be your entrepreneur here, and it's good because it's going to force you. Because I believe, like, you can't really get jobs here, but if you get a job here, I think their pay rate is really low.
Right, it's not anything that we're accustomed to. And the only reason that we chose not to go that route is because we wanted a lot of our time to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a brick and mortar business, that's a lot of work.
Exactly.
You know, online business can be a lot of work too, but it's your business. You don't have to be out of your house at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever the thing is and keep you at work until it closes. You know, so we just wanted more options as to how we were able to, you know, approach our day.
Exactly. Yep.
And so we have another question. Ali, number 1.
Okay, he wants to be in the seat.
He wants to be in the seat. Sometimes when they have an egg, we you know, if you have an egg and you're not on topic, we may have to drop you out because we want to stay on topic. So we're going to bring you in, Ali, because we can't see who you are, but we definitely. So we see your egg.
There's your picture.
So what question do you have tonight? It looks like you're trying to come in there and we get to find out who the mystery Ali 1 is.
Streaming.
Hello.
There you go. Hi Ali, where are you tuning in from?
I'm from Algeria, and you? You're making a great.
We are broadcasting.
Nice big family.
Yeah, we are broadcasting live from Costa Rica. Did you have a question about living abroad as an expat?
I don't hear you. Can you repeat the question, please? I'm just so confused here, guys.
Right.
Okay, Ali, what we're doing is we're answering questions that we get for the week, and we haven't finished going through those questions yet, but if you can stand by, we'll click you back on once we start taking live calls, okay?
Okay.
So just a moment, Ali. We'll get back to you.
Okay. Take your time, guys.
Peace.
I didn't even
Okay.
that.
Okay, so
Peace.
so here are one of the questions that we received over the week, and when you guys send in a question, just let us know. Say yes, we want you to say our names, or no, keep us anonymous. Okay. So for this question, I'm gonna keep her anonymous because she didn't let me know if she wants us to state her name or not. But she says that she's a cosmetologist in the States, and they're moving to Costa Rica sight unseen. What are the opportunities being Black and in the beauty industry? Do Black women there wear hair weaves like in here? And are there a lot of Black-owned salons? Thanks.
Honey, girlfriend, you need to hurry up and get here because and that's one market that has not been cornered here. But one tip I would give to you is go and buy all of the hair, the weave, the utensils that you are going to need because it's 3 times the price in the salons here. There's only 3 salons that we found here, and it's not easy shipping. Well, I mean, it may be a little easy shipping hair, but I've seen some weave jobs here, and you can see the tracks and all of that good stuff. So you really you should thrive here. I'm so surprised. One time I was talking to Shea Moisture was communicating with some of their folks internationally, and I sent a message saying, have you thought about being here? But they never responded, and so that kind of thing is really open here in Costa Rica. And I've certainly even thought about some way to corner that market myself.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
And Donna, you have experience with this.
Yeah,
I think she does. Yeah, she does. But it's a lot of hairdressers up here. We've seen them around 4 or 5 of them here in Heredia. So with weave, they do weaves and.
Are they from America?
We don't know that.
No,
probably
I don't think
not.
so. But
yeah.
I think they're from Limon, and I think So is it a difference for people from Limon doing hair
It just
versus
say Black
hair?
on.
Okay.
Yeah, it just say
Okay.
Black on. And so that was her question, and my response to it was basically like yours. It is definitely an open market here for that. If that's something that you want to do, we definitely need more hair care products for our texture hair, because it is definitely hard to find, and you have to ship it in, which also can become challenging as well.
Exactly.
Another question.
Or you have to be prepared to make your own products.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get really creative, and then my husband here. I'm surprised he didn't say anything because he's a barber.
What's your input, Smokey?
My input on it is it's definitely a market for someone that is here to have a product that'll actually, because they already have the means, they already know what to do, right? They just need to put their show on the road.
That's it.
Don't be afraid. Take a chance on yourself.
Exactly.
That's my outlook on it.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the next question that we have, and it is about cars. Is it more expensive to buy a car there or keep my new car that I have?
Well, everything is more expensive here. I mean, honestly, everything is more. Right? Am I lying, Mitch and Donna?
We refuse to purchase a used car here. You're going to get a used car here, 300,000 miles, 2003 for $30,000. It's just like a ridiculous price, and I just can't see myself purchasing a used car here. I'm sorry. And then.
And even the new cars. We were talking to someone who purchased a brand new car here, and they were telling us how they paid three times the amount for the same car.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we catch the bus.
Yes, proudly. We are proud bus riders.
But you know what?
Cab rides and bus rides are the best way to go.
And you know what? I have to say something about that, because it really is a whole de-stressing process, even to just be a rider, not have to be responsible for a car, not have to be responsible for insurance for a car. So I recommend it to a few of my friends who were thinking about making the move to come, at least, even if you have the money, come for the first year without bringing all of that stuff. Some people want to know, there are some people who want to just replace their American lifestyle in another country. And that's where, we met an expat at a dinner, and she had lived in Costa Rica, and she said that they ran out of money because she was trying to live exactly like she lived in the U.S. So she was going to the most expensive grocery store here. They had a car. She wanted to decorate her place the same way. So, those kind of people, they need to have a savings. But I think we're a different kind when you make a decision to come and be a part of the culture and to really downsize and minimize your life. That's a different decision for people who just want to relocate.
If you have the money, go ahead and do it. If you have the money, but if you don't have the means of income, in my opinion, the car is just very expensive. So, I would rather, I would have took my car and then brought it over here. If I would have.
It's difficult because if you have a car in the States and it's a certain year, they can charge you customs and import tax on that car. And it can be the amount that your car is worth, or it can be even more than what you actually paid for your car. And they get to determine what your car is worth. So you can have a $5,000 car and that you paid $5,000 or $6,000 for, and you end up paying $10,000 to get it into the country, $8,000 to get it into the country. So you have to decide if that's something that you want to do. You know, and so that's a good question, and we're still on the limb about, you know, if we would purchase a car here or if we would ship one over from the state.
Yeah.
You know, because
it'll work out the same. You'll get a newer year. You know, at least you'll get a 2015, 2020.
And then you got to factor in that they drive differently.
And they
It's a different way that they drive here. So you got to get acclimated to that
Exactly.
first before you bring your car.
That's true.
So it's good for you to see what's going on, how fast they're moving, so you can actually know where you fit.
Exactly. And especially the terrain.
I know another.
Oh yeah, the terrain.
Right.
And also,
Yeah.
know how to,
Different.
So a lot of people
It's
here drive
mountains,
stick
so-
because you know, if you automatic, it's gonna
Right.
really mess up your transmission. The fact that it's very, you know, some people live up on the mountains and it's you know, plains and stopping to go, and you just got to look out for that. 4-wheel.
Yes.
okay, so we ready.
You know. Yeah, sure. I have another question that I received as well, though. I want to make sure.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. One of the questions, you may already have it, but it's about the weather.
Yes.
Yes. Oh well. It's 20. It's 20. They said it's 20
Boy.
over 25, 23, 25.
Different
So
climates.
we're in Heredia,
In
and they're
Costa
and the bays are in Santana, and it's completely different.
And it's not even that far from each other.
Yeah.
So it's here. The climate is a little bit colder. It's a little bit. It rains more than Santana. We lived in Santana too, so we know, you know, how the bays live. So is it really raining every day there, or is it still humid?
You know, yes, and it is raining, and we've learned some new lessons about going through the full rainy season. We've learned about how things mold, how quickly things will mold, and so now we get it about, you know, the people who live in Puerto Viejo, where it rains a little bit more, and some of them. I remember our friend in Puerto Viejo, our mutual friend, all of us, said that at a certain point your hair will just start to mold. Well, there have been things that I have forgotten were in the cabinet, and I go and I look for it, and it's all molded. And then there's clothes and different things.
That is true.
You know, that if you don't touch it, dust it out, or pack it up right, it will mold. So sometimes that people who have allergies need to be aware of that. You know, if the climate changes, you know, it could be really warm in the day and very cool at night, you know, and so Costa Rica it's really, really different for it to be such a small country, for it to be so cold here.
You know, when we first moved to Ciudad de Quesada, that's San Carlos. So that's like the northern region of Costa Rica. And what happened is the house that we were renting, they had a mold problem. So the mold, like our clothes, like we had suits and stuff there that we didn't use because it was we had no need. Yeah, so it'll be on our clothes, like the mold and stuff. So so it's mainly like, you know, you definitely have to look out for the homes that have wood in it.
Exactly.
Because the wood holds the mold more.
Because the house that we were in was wood grain out. It was wood walls, ceilings, wood, just wood, everything.
Wood grain.
It was wood grain.
Wood.
Yeah. So the weather is definitely something to consider. So I guess we've been talking for Do you want to get in another question, Donna, before we take Latasha's question? We're going to put you in the seat in just a minute.
Yes, we can put her in the seat in just a minute. I have one question, and this one, the only reason that I want to ask this one is because it really made my mind think. And the person wanted to know, they are a family of 6. Do you think that they can make it in Costa Rica off of $2,700 per month? A family of 6, $2,700 a month.
You know what? I'm gonna answer that straight up and down. Let me answer that. Do you realize? I mean, explain something to you. Someone here does not make nowhere near that. So you're creating an issue for yourself.
Exactly.
You can answer that yourself. It's a way for you to live, and it's a way for you to survive. What are you trying to do? That's up to you to answer that question. Because they out there right now at $2,600, and they got 10 kids in one house. So I know they'd appreciate that, and they live it. So it's all about how you gonna live, or you want to just survive. So that's on you.
Yeah, and $2,700. I mean, $2,700 for a family of 6, man. I mean, they do it here, but we don't know. Are you vegan? Are you, if you're vegan, that's something to consider. And our progressive, family tend to be vegan and vegetarians, and I'm gonna tell you, it's not as easy to get fruit and vegetables as you think in Costa Rica. I mean, yes, the fruit and vegetable here are healthier. Yes, the quality of the food, even the meat is different. We talked about that in our last blast. So even if you're a meat eater, when you go back to the States and you try to eat certain foods, you'll notice, your body will react to it because of all the chemicals in it. So that's something to consider for that family of 6. So what's your lifestyle in the States? Because if you have special considerations, that's what you need to budget, into it. And whether you want to put your children in private school. Do you homeschool?
That's true.
Do you want private school? Because that could
still all up to do.
Suck up, your budget if that's a need that you have.
Exactly. Little sailor sleepy. But that's good. That's
no worries.
Also, like you said, depending if you want to live in a gated community or if you want to live in a Tico neighborhood.
Now what I have seen is what I've seen is some people can I've seen some and it also depends on if you want to have a furnished home or if you want to go ahead and make your investment up front and furnish your own home. Of course, I found some really, really, really good price rentals, like 3-4 bedrooms for about $1,200 a month. You just have to put furniture in it. And for Costa Rica, when you say furniture, that also means your refrigerator, stove, and all of those things. But you still end up saving in the end, but it only depends on if you plan on staying here or if you just are checking out the waters to see. So, of course, I don't think I would go through the whole buying furniture and all of that stuff, and then you end up leaving within a year. I would go that route once I knew that I was going to be here for a while. So I definitely think that you can make $2,700 a month easily, even with 6 people in your household.
Yes. I received a question recently about living here in Costa Rica, about culture, about Black culture and activities. This was from another expat who had lived abroad in Asia and another place. I forgot another place in Latin America. And she had experienced quite a bit of culture, meaning if she didn't get it in the direct culture in Korea, she got it in the military bases, and then there were so many government contracts in Korea. So she was saying how there were fraternities and fraternity parties and cruises and all of that good stuff. And so she wanted to know if that's, so she said she really didn't miss it. She had brunch with ladies from North America on Sunday. You know, they went out for happy hour during the week. So her life wasn't much different than in the States. Well, if you're considering Costa Rica, that's quite different. The reason why we love Limon so much is because we get a chance to see brown people in a concentrated way. Now I hear that you all are seeing more brown people in Heredia, correct?
Yes. And some are Americans, and some are Ticos or Ticas. So, but yes, we are seeing more than we've ever seen in any place, and we've lived in 2 other cities other than Heredia. So Heredia is our 3rd city that we've lived in since we've been here in Costa Rica. So I like.
Okay. And so the other thing is we're not really partiers. So like, I mean, yes, we do. Now I am a socialite, and when I left DC, you know, I am a bit of a social butterfly, and I do miss being able to go out to a place and have a martini and talk to people that are brand new. But first of all, there's a little bit of the language barrier. However, it's kind of like an extreme, and it's no different than living in the States, because we relocated from DC, where there is a very progressive culture. I could talk to someone who lived in New York State, that's not New York City, and they didn't have the progressive culture of DC. So it's kind of like that, you know, it depends on where you're coming from. Plus, so there are clubs that play reggae and that type of thing. But if you come from a city that has jazz and has, you know, all of that, it's a little different. But it's an opportunity for those of us who are here now to create it. That's what we want to do as far as building community, you know, for those who are already living in Costa Rica. And then there's one little part B that I want to add to that is there's a bit of a wake-up call when you live abroad, because you see someone that's brown and when you're not used to seeing them, you get excited. They might not have the same excitement that you have, because they consider you a gringo. Right. And so that's a little different, because they look just like auntie. They look like your cousins, especially if you're from down south, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi. You know, we have cousins in the family that, you know, are light bright. Yeah. or very brown like us. Right. And you know, when I first started seeing brown people, I would be like, oh, there's family. And they'd be looking like, hola.
That, and you think that sometimes that they are Americans, because we do all look alike. You can't really tell until you hear the accent. You know, and sometimes I get truly confused, because I'm trying to speak English to a brother that works at a store, and he doesn't speak English. It's like all Spanish. I'm like, oh, okay, so you don't speak English. Like, it's just weird. You just think that but you know, they're Tico or Tica. And so you have to realize that, you know, they are naturally from this country and they may not know the language, you know, so sometimes it does get confusing. Right. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I just wanted to do just a little housekeeping really quick. If you're watching live, we see that we have 69 viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. Because Blab has a new feature where you can watch without necessarily coming into the room. So those of you who came into the room, if you want to jump in the seat, we have an open seat. We would love for you to ask us any questions that you have or may have been pondering. And there's a feature that says tell a little bird. So if you're watching and you see that feature, then, you know, just tell people you're watching and talking with the young Black expats living in Costa Rica. And so we see we have someone coming in, and we're so glad to have you.
Hi, sorry.
Hello, Terry.
Turn the music down.
Hey,
Hi, how
hey
are you?
Terry.
Wonderful.
We can hear you. We can hear you. What's your
Well, I
question?
was just trying to figure out. So you guys are in Costa Rica?
Yes.
Okay, and you're from the U.S.
Yes.
Why did you move to Costa
Yes.
Rica?
Oh, we just covered all of that in the beginning. Where are you
I am
from?
living in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a really real quick answer for us, for the Bays, it was more of a health and wellness type of call to Costa Rica. We felt called here, and we're still discovering why Spirit brought us here. What about the Griffiths? You want to give
Well,
us
just for us, very quickly, is that we had a home-based business, and we were just really enjoying life. And we said, you know what, let's go somewhere, because living in D.C., we had a one-bedroom condo, and we were paying like $2,000 a month. So we were like, look, we can go anywhere for real, and and get to just live a better quality of life. So we were looking at places to move, but we really was like, let's just move out the country. And once we jumped on that idea, Costa Rica just kept coming up. And so we just decided to move to Costa Rica. And we did the research, but, you know, it was just us. When we got here, went to sleep the first night and woke up the next day, it wasn't like, oh my God, we're in Costa Rica. It was like, wow, it just felt very comfortable. It felt like home. It wasn't a shock or anything. It was just good. And so we've been here going on 3 years, and we really, really like it. You know, but by no means are we, you know, just stuck for Costa Rica. You know, we might wake up in another year and be like, look, we're ready to move to another country, you know, decide what other country we want to live in. But for now, Costa Rica is where we are. We like it here in Costa Rica, and that's pretty much the answer. So, hope that.
Did you have another question?
Yeah,
Terry?
I wanted to know, how are you able to survive? Are you self-employed?
Yes.
Oh yes, sis. You probably you just came in, and we actually are. Let me tell you, update you what we've been doing. We've been going over our frequently asked questions,
Okay.
and you're just confirming that those 2 questions are the most frequently asked questions. We handled that at the top of the hour. So I want to invite you to look at the playback. And let's see if we can get another question in that we haven't touched on for the viewers that's been with us the whole hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Terry.
Do you have another one?
No, I
Okay.
have a few questions, but it seems as if the ones that I'm going to ask you've already answered.
Oh no, go ahead. There may be a third one that we didn't answer yet.
Well, no, it's okay. I think those were the questions I had.
Okay. Well,
All right, thank you for answering them.
Are you thinking about coming to Costa Rica?
No, I live in Toronto, and I'm from Jamaica. But it's just a thing of how can you get up and just leave your home? For me, it's sort of difficult because I know I live in Toronto and I've been here for 13 years. And I would love to move, but it's like to adapt to another country again. It's like such a challenge. But I guess for me, it's different because it would be just me, so it would be harder. When you have like a husband or a family, then it's much easier that way. So
I think that just depends on where.
That's a good segue.
It is.
That's a good segue into to another question that we get very often from in the inbox. Do you think women can come and live in Costa Rica alone? And Donna, you were about to say it depends on where you live, right?
I know what I was going to say is it depends on where you are mentally, because you know there are some single women they travel here to Costa Rica by themselves. They don't speak Spanish. They jump on a bus. They get to where they want to go. It's just where they are spiritually. And sometimes when spirit calls you to do something, it's not necessarily who's going to come with me. Sometimes it's just, this is what needs to get done. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be in a different atmosphere. I want to be in a different location. And this is what I'm going to do. You know, we have Skype. I can still talk to my family. We have phone calls. I can still keep in touch with those people back home. But I want to see another area. And being as though we only have one life, then people go ahead and do what they have to do. So it really just depends on where you are in your life as to if that's something that, you know, resonates with you to just up and pack up and move to another country and see what that's like, and then go to somewhere else and see what that's like. You know, each person.
Well, there's a movement happening right now. Where there are many women who are living abroad. They're not necessarily from the U.S. either. And but there's a movement of women, but particularly what we call brothers and sisters, who are living abroad, male, female, but definitely there are women who are doing it. I agree with Donna. It depends on where you are mentally. Some women have been fortunate enough to score teaching positions or corporate positions, and they come here and they are able to assimilate in the culture. I think it's important to say also that Costa Rica is they're very friendly. That's one of the reasons they're very helpful people. And so this is also a different place. As long as people don't come with and this probably wouldn't be your case because you're not from America, but coming from with North American arrogance,
Right.
then that can turn folks off that wouldn't help you or go out of the way to help you. And then of course you do have to ask questions and do some research and decide where you're going to live and that type of thing. So
What's the cost of living like when you get there? Is it easier to find a new
that's
job
a good question.
for you to be able to survive?
So, I hope that we don't sound redundant, but it does depend on where you're coming from. So let me give an example. We have some friends that moved here from New York City. In fact, well, I won't say who they are. I want to because I'll tell their business. But anyway, they moved from New York City, and they were paying probably $3,000 or $3,500 for pretty much a box. When they got here, they were able to find like a 4 or 5 bedroom house with a garden in the middle, fruit trees all on the outside, and it was like $1,000 less than what they were spending in New York, plus a lot of other expenses in New York. We met another expat who relocated here from Texas. Because of where she came from, she was spending the same amount of money in Texas in Costa Rica, but was getting less. So it depends on where you are coming from, what the cost of living is. And honestly, you can check the data on this. You can go from living in a $300 or $250 little place to a $25,000 a month home. Living in Costa Rica is that extreme. You can go from zero to off of the charts.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for answering my questions.
Oh, thank you so much for jumping on.
Thank you for jumping in.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Is there anyone else that would like to jump on and ask their question live? We have over 70 people watching and 8 people in the room. Is there anyone else that want to jump on? If not, we can answer another question. If you have another question that anybody's asked you, or Oh, here's Terry.
Hi, sorry, I just wanted to say that you have 71 people watching. You don't. You only have 8 people watching. Those are 61 people that came in and out.
8 people are live.
Yeah.
Now, the 70 people are what?
People that came in and out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you for correcting me. No problem. Okay, so is there anyone else of the 8 people that are watching that would like to jump on or ask any other question live?
No. I just checked it. It's 71 people watching, and it's just 8 that are in the room. But it's 71 people that are watching.
You know, people like to, so it's fine. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. If there's anyone else that like to answer a question, they can feel free. Other than that, we can just answer some other questions that are given. And I have some more questions written here for people. If you let me check on some because I have.
Yeah. It's okay. But if you can, those 71 people who are watching, some of you are on Facebook. You can send in. You can send us a message on Facebook, and we'll be happy to take your questions. We're checking our Facebook page as well.
Excuse me.
So I don't see any new questions there, but you can definitely join us on Young Black Expats Living in Costa Rica on our Facebook page. You can also join us on Twitter. But if you're watching live from your phones and iPads, because Blab has a new feature now where people don't have to join the room in order to watch. And so if you are watching from your phone, just tweet it out that you are watching with the Young Black Expats Living in Costa Rica. So just so you'll know, until Donna gives us the next question, next week, we're going to have some special guests. We're going to start having some other guest experts who are living in other parts of the world and who are doing some phenomenal things for. And if you hear the pitter patter in the back, we're in a really hard rain on this side of Costa Rica. I don't know if you can hear it.
It's rainy season here in Costa Rica now. We get a lot of questions of when is rainy season and when is dry season. And really, I've been here almost 3 years, and I still am not sure when, because each area is different, really, So we're really not sure when, but definitely it's rainy season right now. Oh, okay.
So you want to give us one last question for this week?
Did you ask? Someone asked about the family. Yes. No, the family. Would you miss your family?
What was the question? Did you miss
Yeah.
your
Well, yeah. I think she has.
Is this her? Okay, so somebody asked about the mosquitoes and dengue. Dengue and the mosquitoes, is that a really, really bad problem here in Costa Rica?
Wait a minute, did you say dengue?
I said dengue, but I might be saying it wrong.
Dengue.
What is
Dengue.
What's it called? You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you all are saying.
Dengue.
You know the thing that I'm going to put it into the chat so you can see it, but it's when you get bit by a mosquito, they have this thing that they say goes
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Yeah, dengue is bad.
They have they spray for it. Like in Nicaragua, some years it's really, really bad that they have a curfew and they'll spray the streets with some spray to kill the mosquitoes. So you don't catch some type of virus. I don't know. People are so afraid of it, but I've never known anyone to get it. But I think that some people do.
Yeah.
But it's never been a problem for either one of us.
Right. I didn't even know what it was. But I mean, mosquitoes are gangster here.
Yes.
So, I mean, probably the same way they are in Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas.
But you know what? When I go to Puerto Viejo, that's when I get the mosquito bites, because for me, mosquito bites are different. Some mosquito bites, they just come up as a little bump and it goes away. Then there's some mosquito bites that I can get that will swell up really big and leave a knot, and then the knot leaves a scar. And so it depends on where in Costa Rica I get bit. I guess it's different mosquito types or whatever. But no, mosquitoes are definitely around, more so in the jungle areas. But we've never been experienced with any problems with the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Right.
So the last question was Ms. Jones. She asked if we were dealing with homesickness and loss of contact with relatives, and how do we deal with this issue? For us, it's not really that bad for us, as far as the relatives, because we can see them once every 3 years. But how about for you?
Once every 3 months.
I mean, 3 months. But how about for you?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a softie, so I already said that I'm a social butterfly. So, yes, I do miss my posse. I miss my family but at the same time, it really is relative, because since I've been away from home, I might have gotten home once or twice a year. So going home just means more thoughtful, but we do a lot more communicating with our family as a result of being here. Like, we do a lot more Skype, and using technology. Our family has come to visit us,
which is wonderful.
It's a big deal when your family comes to visit. But I get more homesick. The Bays are foodies, right? Mitchell and Donna.
Yes.
We like our gourmet experiences. Like, we like flavors and layers of experiences with different types of cuisine. And so we miss things like that. And I like to cook, and my husband cooks. He's from Louisiana. And I'm from
New Orleans. Don't get it twisted.
That's a big thing for folks from Louisiana. Yeah. They have to distinguish.
Let's turn this party up. Yeah, let's turn this party up. It's raining over here. Y'all asking us to be homesick. I'm not homesick. I feel good. You know why I feel good? Because I just do. But I do miss my brothers. I come from a big family. I miss my mom every now and then, my kids and whatnot. But I
think it goes back to your consciousness as well, because the truth be told, that when it depends on how ingrained you are and assimilated into your Western culture, including your family. And so when you think a certain way, sometimes you aren't seeing them, or if you're around them for a while, it's
then you're ready to go back.
Small doses.
That's good.
Small doses.
Yep, small doses. Small doses. But if you're a family person, at least it's only 2 hours away. So, you can catch the plane and head to the United States and see your family. But for the Costa Ricans here, they're very family oriented. So, so it's very they love their families here, and family is first here. So,
And I love that.
Yeah, so that's something to consider when you come here, because if you are looking to connect, unless you're very deliberate about connecting with people, it may take some time. Because you're coming to a new culture, and even though they're family oriented, they don't necessarily just invite you into their family spaces like that. So it's something to be aware of. But I know we are about 2 minutes in. We want to close out this round this week.
Yes.
Thank everybody for joining. We really appreciate your support. Thank the people that jumped on the call live to ask a question. And we will be back next week, same time. I think either way, you're going to get a link. You can follow us on Young Black Expats Living in Costa Rica on Facebook. You can check us out at our website, www.youngblackexpats.com, and also, of course, on Twitter. And you'll be able to find out when our next lab will be Thursday, and you will find out the time at that point. Also,
for the other the website that we have for people who are here in Costa Rica.
It's not a website.
Oh yes, if you're already living in Costa Rica and we haven't had a chance to meet you and you're watching the recording, or you are moving to Costa Rica and you have a date, you are welcome to join us in Brothers and Sisters of Central America. Brothers and Sisters of Central America, and you must have a date. It's not a question and answer forum for people who are thinking about it. That's what this forum is for on Thursday.
Sounds good. And then one other thing is, if you have a question that you want to hear us address live next week, send that over to us, and we will make sure that we get your question answered. Also, if you do not mind us saying your name, just let us know, because some people on the download, they don't want nobody to know they think about moving to Costa Rica. so, if you want to be anonymous, let us know that you want to be anonymous. Okay, and so we will not mention your name, but we will definitely get your question answered. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Peace.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Love.